So, people from Facebook calling me that I don't know, not cool. I'm not in the mood. That really irritates me. But I've got to work on that because that's not something to get irritated about, right? So, I was just journaling. I got up late. I didn't sleep well last night. I haven't really been sleeping well, period. But I got up to journal. And as usual, I was thinking about the breakup because that's the first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning. Which isn't a great thing. I got hair sticks again, and I used to wear these all the time, but now I have to remember how to put them in. I mean, I know how to put them in, but the best way to do it. That's not it, but I'll deal with it for now. So, I was journaling about missing him and loving him and how it's over. You know, I've been writing it a lot to help my brain, get it cemented in my brain. I think I said yesterday that his name has I've started thinking an ex-boyfriend's name when I think his name. And almost even saying the ex-boyfriend's name when I go to say his name. And to me, that's clearly because where he's being stored in my brain is changing. His name no longer means boyfriend. His name is changing to mean ex-boyfriend. And right now, the name that means ex-boyfriend is coming out of my mouth instead. Interesting. So there's lots of confusion going on in my brain right now, which I'm sure will straighten itself out in time. Meanwhile, on planet Earth, you know, I've noticed that every time I think, oh, you know, it's over, it's done, my brain creeps in there with this but maybe thought, or, you know, like, you don't have to, like, oh, totally, yeah, he's totally gone. You can just think this one other thought, though, and then you're good. He's gone, but maybe you'll get him back in the future. Maybe the universe will give him back to you in the future. Maybe something will happen in the future that, and I shouldn't even say it out loud, honestly. I took my book, The Heart of the Buddhist Teaching, into the other room while I journaled, because sometimes I like to go through it and just kind of find, you know, journal about something that strikes me. For the first time, I just sort of flipped the book open, and I have had this book for like over 20 years, and I haven't read past the halfway point, and I don't know what the deal is with that. But I flipped it open to a chapter that I've never even gotten to. And it was about what was it called? Like co-reacting or something like that. It's like this idea of cause and I left it in the other room. Right. But the idea basically was that this is because that is. This is like this because that is like that. So we interbe. We're all connected. And the idea is, I've got like an eyelash or something in my eye. You like all the things that are happening to me right now to keep me from saying these things. The idea is that, I mean, there is cause and effect, but they're not independent of each other. You know, there's the chicken is in the egg and the egg is in the chicken, I think is one of the lines that Thich Nhat Hanh wrote. And it just made me think, okay, you know, and when I first flipped it open, it was like, what the hell was, I want to find the name of the chapter, so come with me. Let's journey to the other room where I left my book. This is not that exciting. My roommate's alarm has been going off for like an hour and a half, and I knocked on his door, and he said yes, and I said, turn the alarm off, and he said, okay, and I didn't turn the alarm off. It's still going off. But you know what? That's another thing. That's another little practice, an opportunity here not to get irritated at something that's completely not something to get irritated about, right? All right. So the point is, this chapter was, where is it? I feel like it said chapter 12, but it wasn't. So that's the table of contents. The 12 links of interdependent co-arising. So when I saw that, I opened the page, just the book randomly to a chapter, and that's the chapter heading that I saw. Just open to a page, and that's the chapter heading that I saw. And I got kind of excited. I was like, oh, maybe this is, one of the signs the universe is like, co-arising you're gonna arise together, blah, blah, blah. It's about being together with someone. And I was reading it, and let's see. I was reading it, and it was talking about, I really shouldn't do my hair. Let's just talk about what I'm talking about rather than getting distracted with that. So it's talking about the foundation of Buddhist study and practice. It's sometimes called the teaching of cause and effect, but that can be misleading. Cause and effect co-arise. The egg is in the chicken, and the chicken's in the egg. They arise in mutual dependence. Neither is independent. And then it kind of comes on, saying that the Buddha expressed interdependent or co-arising very simply. This is because that is. This is not because that is not. This comes to be because that comes to be. This ceases to be because that ceases to be. These sentences occur hundreds of times in the discourses of both the northern and southern transmissions. They are the Buddhist genesis. I would like to add to the sentence, this is like this because that is like that. So, that underscored to me the idea that we went through this time together. He took me from a really hard time in my life to a time in my life when I realized I'm going to be okay and I can be on my own. He taught me about loving myself and not allowing anybody to treat me badly again. But the point is, we influenced each other. I know, I can see the influence I've had on him. So we co-arise together. And that's beautiful. It's really beautiful. But I don't know. It didn't say anything about even from now on, even though we're not together and we're never going to be together, he influences me. He's influencing me right now because the end of this relationship is helping me to grow. But one of the things that I realized was I am because of the way I am now, because in large part because of him, and vice versa. He has changed a lot since I met him. And it's all for the better. He's happy. He said to me that he was thinking about all the changes and how happy he is, and that he wouldn't have been happy otherwise. So I know we've influenced each other and we've grown and we've co-arisen. I'm sad that we can't continue to co-arise. But I was also thinking, this was a little freeing. He is the way he is because of, you know, the life and the people in his life being the way they are. So even though I get angry at the thought of his mother and how she is and why it's because of the way she is that we can't be together. I mean, that's a very simplified version of it, but basically, in layman's terms, if you don't want to go into like metaphysical and theoretical and philosophical things, the basic thing is we can't be together because of his mother. Not that she knows who I am. It's a long story. It's a long story. But just trust me when I say, like, we can't. And, but the thing that I realized in reading this thing and journaling about co-arising was that even though I'm mad and I'm angry and I'm, you know, like I'm hurt and all these things and I have negative energy directed towards his mother, who I've never met, it made me realize, like, he is the way he is because she is the way that she is. No matter what I think about her or how I wish she were different, it's actually, I can't wish that she was different because of her, he is the way that he is, and there's nothing I would change about him. I love he deserves to be himself, and the world needs him the way he is because he's such a good person, and I can't wish her to be any other way because he is the way he is, and I wouldn't want any of that to change. I wouldn't want one thing to change because who knows what else it would change, right? And I mean, it's the same with his father, and they didn't have, honestly, the greatest upbringing. I mean, I can't say that it was enjoyable. You know what I mean? There's lots of stuff that, you know, especially as Americans, we'd be like, what? But, you know, like, because they were the way they were, they co-arised with Abram, and now he is the way he is because of them. So I cannot wish them to be different. In fact, because of the amount that I love him, I have to love his parents because they co-arose, right? Their arising was interdependent. I mean, I'm sure he influenced them. My concern, though, is the way that they influenced him and influenced who he is as a person. And because of the amount of love I have for him, I can't be angry or wish, you know, be angry at his parents or wish that they were different. I'd have to love them because I love him and they're part of him. And if it weren't for them, he wouldn't be who he is. So I have to love them for that. And I do. I love them for that. It's true. I mean, it's such a weird thing. I mean, God, I've never had a breakup where I'm just like, I just love him and I want him to be happy, even if it's without me. I don't want him to be without me. And I keep thinking, that's the other thing, is I keep thinking about his life without me. I'm not focusing on my life without him. And I think that's a defense mechanism. So I was writing in my journal these things that I'm talking about, but also I was talking about how, a little bit like what I was saying a minute ago, I keep saying, okay, he's not a part of my life. He's not a part of my life. And when I realized that I was saying things like, I'm not part of his life. He's moving on. He's doing this. You know what I mean? Like, he wants to be happy. He's accepted it. And this is the thing, and I'm going to say it. No, like, oh, I shouldn't say this. You know, he's accepted that this is fact and that there is no other way. And given that reality, he wants to be as happy as he can. And he is going to think of me as little as possible, and he's gonna move on to whatever he moves on to. His life is what it is, and I'm not a part of it, so I'm not a part of it. But that's not probably the most useful way of thinking about things. I need to think my life is without him, and when I start thinking about the finality of it, like not ever seeing him again, like this is it. This is our story. We had this beautiful, amazing, incredibly wonderful, inspiring story that, I mean, honestly, people have never had a relationship like this. Some people have never had anything like this. Some people have never felt this way about someone and been in a relationship that was so good. And I'm lucky because of that. And it's beautiful. And I'm glad I had it. It's just, we're taught from like infancy that love conquers all, right? That if you love someone, if you're truly in love, it doesn't matter what the obstacle is, you'll be together because you can't stop love. Well, number one, that is an American fantasy. That's an American fantasy. I mean, or maybe a Western world fantasy. But, he's not from the Western world. His culture is Middle Eastern, and his mother is Middle Eastern, and I cannot be angry at her for any of that. I need to love her. I love her because of who he is. And sorry, I got cut off there. So that's not in his head, that love conquers all, because over there you don't have to love your spouse. That's not, I mean, it's nice if it comes along, and there are love marriages, but that's not a key component to a marriage. Love. So, I mean, he wants it to be, but it's okay. You know what? I'm gonna stop talking about the relationship because it's over. It's over. So, what I've noticed is that when I'm saying, see, this is, and we just saw it happen. What I've noticed is that when I say things with finality, when I say things like it's over, and really that feeling creeps into my heart where I know it's true, because it still comes and goes, but those moments where it's like it hits home and it's like it's forever. He's never going to be in my life again. Like, our story was what our story was, and it's over, and it was beautiful. But this happens in life. People come and people go, even if they're the most important person in the world to you. They come in and out of your life. Some people stay forever, some people don't. He came into my life. We had an amazing 3.5 years together. And we got each other from where we were to where we are now. We influenced each other. Stop talking about the relationship. The point is that it's over. It's part of my past. And that sucks. I mean, that sucks. Like, I'm saying these words. This is the point, though. I'm saying these words and my brain's not thinking them. My brain, every time like this starts to sink in, my brain comes up with, but you never know in the future. But, no, you can't think that. But, there's that thought that always comes up, but don't think that. Like, I mean, it's just this like release valve that every time it starts to sink in, it's fear, right? It's fear, because that's not what I want. It's fear that's making me pivot, or just making my brain, honestly. And it's great. This Michael Singer book is great because I'm able to not sit back, but I'm able to observe my thoughts and see that it's a coping mechanism. Because he's gone. And in my brain, it's dangerous, and I don't want to accept it, and I don't want to believe it, and I don't want it to be true. So my brain starts making things up to make it better. But they're not true. They're not true. And even just right now, just like it just comes up. It just keeps coming up. Like, well, you know, I'm gonna say these thoughts because I want people out there, if anybody's actually watching this, to ever watches this, to feel, to understand themselves more, and to see that, I gotta get my tissues, and see that, you know, all the different things that you go through in a breakup, you know, all the different things you can think and feel, and how things go back and forth, and how you can deal with them in a healthy way, because that's what this is. I'm dealing with this in a healthy way, which is new. I gotta. Sorry, it's either that or watch my snot run down my face, guys. So, I have these thoughts distracting me. So I'm going to tell you these thoughts, and then the thought that I had, and then we'll end that. That doesn't make any sense, but hopefully it will in a second. So I have these final thoughts about how he's not in my life, and again, like, I think about how I'm not in his, and what his life is going to be like without me, and blah, 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 and like, that's not my, number one, that's not my responsibility or my business anymore. So I don't need to think about it. That's one realization. Like, I don't need to think about his life without me. And I've been thinking about it because I want it to sink in that that's what his life is going to be, and this is what my life is going to be. But I don't need to worry about what his life is going to be. Not worry, but I don't need to think about it. I don't need to imagine it. I don't need to put myself through that, because it doesn't matter. Because he's not in my life anymore. And I'm not responsible for him. It doesn't matter. He's not in my life anymore. So I don't need to think about him living his life without me, because that doesn't actually have any bearing whatsoever on my life, because we're going our separate ways. We've gone our separate ways, and we're not going to see each other again. And all I can do is wish him the most happiness that he can find, that he will find. I know that he will. I just want him to be so happy, even if it's without me, if it has to be without me. Not if. I want him to be happy without me. I want him to be happy. I want him to find someone else who makes him as happy or happier, as happy or happier than I did. Did. Not do. Did. And again, like, my brain comes up, like, you don't have to, no, it's okay. You don't never know, you never know what the future holds. And it's like, brain, come on. But it keeps coming up, right? Like, it keeps coming up. My brain, these little thoughts, they jump up like little, and I can see, objectively, I can see what it is. I can see what my brain is doing. I can see that it's trying to protect me. But it's not helping, because when I think of him, when I have thoughts about him in my brain, that's a way of keeping him with me. That's a way of keeping him here. If I can't have him, at least I can have these thoughts of him, right? But that's a way of holding on. And I can't hold on because he's gone. It's gone. It's over. It's done. There is no other way. Nothing is going to happen to change it. Nothing can, except for one thing, can happen to change it. But that one thing would be terrible. So, even though I wish with all my heart that one aspect of that fallout from that one action would happen. I can't wish for the action. I can't wish for that event. So, there really is no other choice but to accept it and move on. There really is no other choice than to accept it and move on. Okay, so let's go back to the feelings, right? I'm having a very, very sad feeling. It's okay though, because I'm gonna relax my shoulders, I'm gonna breathe deeply, and I'm just gonna observe it. And I'm gonna tell you more about what I was journaling about. So, it's a sad feeling. It's a sad feeling. But that's okay. I can be sad. Sad is okay. It's not fun, but it's okay. It's part of the human experience. So it's okay that I'm sad. I'll get over it at some point. I won't be sad forever. And I'm saying this stuff out loud because I want other people who may go through a similar thing to hear healthier thoughts. I do love these tissues. The cold lotion tissues. So, these thoughts about the possibility of something happening in the future, us being in each other's lives somehow, someday, and then worrying about, like, well, if we both let go and then we have the opportunity to be together, maybe we won't, you know, it doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It's not reality. It's not reality. The only reality we know we have is this one right here. And so my brain keeps going, yeah, you don't know what the future is. You don't know what the future holds. Maybe blah, blah, blah. Maybe blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no. Those thoughts keep him with me and provide some sort of comfort. But it's not reality. He's not here. He's only here in my head. And he's not going to be here. So what I need to do, and this is something I've said a bunch of times, is just focus on what I'm doing right now and what my goals are for the next few months. And then my brain goes, well, yeah, you're going to hit those goals. And then, you can see him again. And he's going to be like, wow, oh my goodness, I got to be with you. And then this other thing is going to happen over here. And then and it keeps on going. But what I need to do is listen, observe, but don't get involved. So don't encourage them. Don't keep going with them. Just be aware, not angry at myself for having them because it's natural. It's a completely understandable reaction. And it's gonna happen. It's going to happen. It's not like I can stop it. And I can't be blamed for it. So I'm not gonna get angry at myself about it. I'm not gonna get angry at myself about it. And I'm going to allow myself to feel the way I feel. I'm going to allow myself to wish it weren't true. I wish it weren't true. I wish it were different. But that doesn't matter because that's not reality. Up until now, reality and I have never played well together. So I need to focus on my tasks for the day. Going back to what my friend Dave said, it's just like moment tight compartments, right? Just live in this moment. Don't worry about anything else. And it's funny because that's like, with things like this, you feel like you take a bunch of steps forward and then all of a sudden you're back at square one or maybe square two. But like these feelings, it's like not breaking up all over again, but it's like, it feels like a setback, but it's not. It's a step forward because it's evidence of more acceptance of the situation. but it can feel like you're going backwards. And that's natural. This is natural. So if you are going through anything where have these, like, it's a crisis, an emotional crisis, expect it to go up and down and back and forth, and be okay with it. You have to be okay with it, because that is how it works. I'm not going to be over him because I want to be over him. It is going to take time. The only thing I can do, sorry, again, you don't want to see the snot come out of my nose. The only thing I can do is deal with it the best way I can deal with it, in the healthiest way that I can, acknowledging my emotions, acknowledging my thoughts, observing them, allowing them to be, relaxing, and letting go. Let it go. Just let it go. And I'll get over it sooner. That'll be a much quicker way to do it. And when I'm on the other side, it will feel better. I don't want to be on the other side of it right now. I can feel that. I don't want to be on the other side, because, again, being on the other side means complete acceptance, and it means he's out of my life. But he is out of my life in reality. So it's better if my brain reflects the reality of the situation. And when I get through it, when you go through it, it's better on the other side. There's happiness and joy and love. And really, I mean, people keep saying, oh, well, now there are great guys out there, and you can, now someone can love you for who you are. Because that was something I said to my friend. Something she said back to me. It's like the first time I ever allowed myself to be completely 100% who I am. And it was the most loving relationship I've ever been in. And I was 100% loved because I was who I was. Because I am who I am. And that's an amazing thing to take away. That's an amazing thing to take away. That I can be loved for exactly who I am. All my flaws, all of them. He knows all of them. Very familiar with each and every one. And he loved me completely because of them. They're what made him love me. And that's something I can have. But this is what she was saying. It's like, this is beautiful, in the future, you can have this. And it's just like, I don't want to think about the future with it. Like, it's not a scarcity problem for me. It's not like, I mean, sure, yeah, I'll never have that again. No, I won't. I won't ever have that relationship again. It's not, it'll be something different. But, the idea that I think that I can never be happy with someone else or whatever, that's not what I'm facing. That's not what I'm thinking about. I'm just thinking about him specifically and how I want him specifically. But that doesn't matter. I'm just going in circles now. But I hope this is useful for people out there, anybody who's watching, because I think it's useful to see an example, like a case study of how emotions come and go, and where they're coming, where they're going. I think I would have found it useful to see someone describing this, so I'm hoping that other people do too. But yeah, today I'm letting go. I'm acknowledging the beauty, and I'm letting go. And again, bloop, bloop, bloop. But here's the thing. I gotta not vocalize or even write those thoughts anymore. Because that just gives them power. So the thing is, this is the thing. I want to be able to describe for you, or for the purpose of this whole thing is to describe what I'm thinking and feeling. So that you would know the truth, like 100% the truth of what's going on in my head, what's going on in my feelings, so that I mean, the point is, like, for you to be able to understand your own emotions more and not feel bad. Like, so if I say, I'm never going to say this again, I'm never going to speak about this again, I want that to be the case because I think it is more healthy for me not to vocalize those thoughts, because eventually that'll die down in my head. But because if I keep vocalizing them, it keeps going, right? But I also want to be honest with you, because I don't want you to think that that's not what's going in my head. Because if that's what's happening to you, I don't want you to think that you're the only one. Or if that ever happened to you, whatever the case may be. I know I'm not really, it's not like I've got a huge following or anything like that, but in case someone somewhere sometime watches this and gets something out of it. So I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what to do. I think maybe in real life, I'm not gonna vocalize those thoughts anymore. And my brain just went, but wait, well, maybe one more time. I was writing in my journal, and I was like, I'm just gonna write my fantasy. I'm gonna think my fantasy one last time, and then that'll be it. And like, I could not find joy in it, because it was like, what is the use? So in my real life, I'm not going to say these things anymore. I'm not going to say anything about him anymore. That's probably not true. That's probably not true. But I will do my best. But when I come here, I'll be honest. I just hope it doesn't keep me in a different place. Anyway, that's my thought for the day. And I am grateful. I am grateful for all of it. I'm grateful for the relationship. I'm grateful for him. I'm grateful for everything the relationship did for me, everything that the relationship was, every single thing that happened in the relationship. Like, him. I'm so grateful for all of it. I'm grateful that it was in my life, even though it's gone now. I'm grateful to have had it. I'm so grateful to have had it. It was so beautiful. And I'm grateful for the fact that because it's over, I can and I have to focus on my company, on my business that I'm building, and focus on other things. Because it was a distraction. Let's be honest, from the things that I need to be doing. And it is clearly the universe clearing the way for me to get my shit together, get my life in order, which is what I'm doing. And again, like, just right then. And yeah, when you get your shit together and when you get your life in order, maybe then you can be with him. Like, come on, brain, come on. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to the universe very much for the relationship, for putting that relationship in my life and everything that I learned from it and all he got out of it, the joy I know he got from it too, and the difference it's made in his life. But we don't need to think about his life anymore. I'm grateful for every aspect of the relationship, and even in its ending, it's teaching me to be a better, stronger, kinder, more healthy person. And I'm not going to think that thought I just thought. But I'm not going to be angry about it either. I'm just going to observe it. Anyway, I just want to show that you can have gratitude even for things that you don't like, even for uncomfortable emotions, because uncomfortable emotions are part of life and you have to learn to deal with them. I have to learn to deal with them. Let's put it that way. I'll speak for myself. I have to learn to deal with them in a better way than I have in the past. And this is a big part of it. That's what even when it's ending, this relationship is doing so much for me. Okay, well, that's a beautiful thought, but it's sad, right? But it's beautiful. I can admire it. That's it. I just want to remind you that you can always choose, as I'm choosing, to have a grateful day.